Hey, what is up guys? So today we're going to be talking about YCS Prague and the metagame of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now because something kind of happened that a lot of people did not expect. So first off, I want to talk about what the heck went into this tournament. So maybe if you're interested in perhaps getting a little bit more competitive into Yu-Gi-Oh! You could kind of expect to see some of these decks. Now, the most played deck was obviously Necros, which is the new archetype that just came out of Secret Forces. The next up was a high turnout of Clifford, which is actually kind of interesting because once heroes get Dark Law, Clifford kind of has a bad matchup against that deck unless they happen to open up with something to get rid of Dark Law. That deck just kind of goes way too minus. And then there's the Satellar Knights, which had a higher turnout than Burning Abyss. And keep in mind, guys, this is YCS Prague. This is not inside the United States. So it's kind of cool to see what people are playing in different parts of the world as well. And then we have the Burning Abyss, and then we have Yusenju, Shadal's. Look at that. More Yusenju than Shadal's. And that's so crazy because I thought Shadal's was like a really good deck. But I understand power creep happened. That more Shadal's than Heroes by one, but nonetheless the same. And then Volcanic at 16. And then we have the Ritual Beast. So Volcanic's more popular than the Ritual Beast. And then for other, that's basically anything under the spectrum of Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and break up the top 32 deck list over here. Now, there's an interesting thing. I don't know what happened with Konami. They done goofed a little bit, which we'll talk about in just a second. But anyways, over 71% of the decks were Necros, which is insane. And this is, like I said, guys, this is in the top 32. There was apparently 3 Burning Abysses and then 6 Cliffforce and then 23 Necros in the top 32. So that really just shows you how many Necros decks there were in the top tables. But anyways, I do want to mention the thing that I'll talk about real quick. They said that there were 3 Burning Abyss, which you can see from their, site if you guys want to check out the event coverage. I'll post a link down below in the description box. But when you go over here, they had this thing while they were streaming the tournament that there were their top 32 deck breakdowns. It showed 24 Necros over here, 6 Cliffforce, and then 2 Burning Abysses, which, obviously it doesn't match up, but it's a one deck difference. It's not really making a huge difference in the amount of decks being played. Basically, Necros was the most common deck in the top 32 is what we're trying to basically get out of it. But anyways, it was a pretty crazy last game, or last match I should say. If you guys want to know who the heck won, a Burning Abyss player won, and that's so crazy because when you look at the chart, you're like, it might have been 2, it might have been 3. I don't know exactly because I wasn't actually there, but according to their blog, it was 3. Then during their stream they were showing up 2, but either way, that's a pretty crazy turnout, and like I said, it was a pretty insane thing to actually happen in the game. If you guys want to know, basically, one game that really kind of determined something was basically, the other guy had a Dark Law, he has a Downer Magician, and Zen Mains. The guy goes ahead and blinds Space Typhoons, he hits this card over here, and it ended up being a Foolish Burial. Had he hit this card, which was Vanity's Emptiness, he would have been in a much better situation, but Dark Law does cause a lot of problems for most decks anyways. Like I said, against the Clifford matchup, when you get this out first turn, regardless of what deck you're playing against, I mean, it's a really just strong card, but against Clifford, I feel like it's kind of like the card that just really screws them over. But I think the card that made the biggest difference in this tournament was actually Mind Crush. Because so many decks right now in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Search. And it's not just to get rid of that one card, guys. It's actually to see your opponent's hand. Trap Dust Shoot was banned for a reason. So, because almost everyone was playing this card, and it was just showing itself of how good of a card this was, I think maybe this card could potentially be hit. Because, like I said, Trap Dust Shoot is banned because being able to know what your opponent has, especially when the game just starts out, that's a huge advantage in the game. And like I said, so many decks just search turn 1. This card is actually very, very excellent. A little funny picture I did want to share with you guys is someone made this, and he says, when you're in top 8 and you screw yourself. And the guy, there's 2 of these right here. They're 2 Clifford Scouts. So that's a very good pendulum scale. A scale of 9 and 9. So maybe if... I mean, I assume that's why everyone was laughing at him. I didn't actually get to see this entire duel here. I was thinking maybe he happened to have things where he could like pop his own spell trap, and he was just trying to pop the back row. But maybe, I assume that like he totally did screw himself over. Otherwise, this picture wouldn't make any sense, and they wouldn't have been making fun of him. Man, it really just shows you guys, sometimes you're just caught up in the moment in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're like, just play this card. I know one time on accident, legitimately, I accidentally played 2 Scouts, and that was simply because I maxed through my opponent and he let me draw like 50 cards, and because I had so many cards in my hand, I clicked on it and then I clicked activate, and I accidentally moved my mouse over like 0.1 millimeter, and I was like, oh bro, you wanted to go for double scout, right? So yeah, just keep in mind, think before you make some plays in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes, like I say, players do get caught up, and everyone does make mistakes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys already know that. I scrub out all the time. But man, it really just shows you guys, like I said, the breakdown. And this is kind of important information because we do have the ban list coming around the corner, and it just shows you guys, you know, what is the most relevant deck, and usually whatever is the most relevant deck gets hit at least by a little bit. Sometimes, even if it does get hit, guys, the deck is still going to be primarily the main played deck, because it's still technically super good. Like, dragons were dominant, and then they were still dominant, you know. Sometimes they just have to hit the deck twice, or whatever comes out just needs to power creep it even harder. But I think it would be interesting to hear your thoughts on this. Were you guys surprised at Burning Abyss one? Because personally, for me, I'm like, Necro's got this, like, hands down. A lot of players did say that the Necro's guy in the final made a lot of mistakes. But, you know, like I said, everyone does make mistakes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even when you're that far down the line. Sometimes you just get exhausted from just playing so much Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyways, like I said, let me know, what did you guys think was going to win? Because I would have bet all my money on Necros, and I would have bankrupt off of that for sure. I did not expect the Burning Abyss to actually do, well, I mean, there was only 2 or 3, depending on what was the real number, and they actually won it. But anyways, yeah, Dante's are going slightly up in price, and who knows, maybe we'll get more Burning Abyss support, because it is technically PCG exclusive. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and like I said, I'd love to know what you thought was going to win this tournament, or maybe your just thoughts in the game in general, and stuff like that. But anyways, it was cool to see a Dark Law, though. Dark Law and Burning Abyss, because that card is just, it's an amazing card. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Azneyes signing out.